Thanks, Goose. Well, made as a kind of video game sequel to the second Aliens film, Aliens Colonial Marines puts you in the combat boots of Corporal Chris Winter, who's part of a search and rescue team to try and find Hicks, Ripley, and the rest of the gang from the USS Sulaco. Gee, I wonder what kind of surprises will be in store for Corporal Chris Winter, Barjo.
Probs aliens?
Yeah.
Game over, man! Game over!
Pull yourself together, Barjo! Yep, from the moment you arrive, you're hit with a wave of alien nostalgia as you're faced with some really great links and references to the films that fans will undoubtedly go nuts over.
And when you get down to the planet, that whole landing zone and entry, Hicks, the holes in the roof of the operation room and the floor where those aliens came out, the bed that Ripley and Newt slept under.
Let's all sleep in that creepy science experiment lab.
The sentry guns.
Looks like somebody put up a hell of a last stand here.
Guns are dry.
Even that yellow light when you talked about the monsters. It's all there. They do a pretty good job of capturing the feel of the Aliens movies, and fans will pick up on every single detail here.
Unfortunately, it's not with a whole lot of polish, though, is it? I mean, visually it's pretty poor compared to what we expect from a new release these days. Textures are rough, animations are dodgy with jumps and skating, and characters barely look like they're interacting with each other. It's pretty disappointing.
They're coming out of the wall!
That one is literally coming out of the wall.
Yes, I was hoping this would be a gritty, modern, fan-fest Aliens game that I could grab and love, but no. Even getting through the first area is a bit of a chore, even for a fan. Mostly, you'll spend a lot of your time wandering around the same dull corridors in the dark, fighting off Xenos as they leap at you from the shadows.
Yes, and while I enjoyed the creepiness of the dark corridors of that ruined ship, it can be kind of hard to find your way around in the dark, even with the help of your scanner. I often found myself going around in circles with my little flashlight, just searching for an exit into the next area for ages, because a lot of the areas look the same. That said, the darkness does serve as a terrifying cover for those ceiling-crawling Xenos.
Well, they mostly come out at night.
Not again.
Mostly.
Contact.
Yeah, I mean, the best parts of this game are when you're involved in those terrifying shootouts with aliens, trying to fight them off when they make a lunge for you, or just spotting them in the dark.
Or welding a door shut behind you to slow down a Xeno that's hunting you so you can make a break for it.
I just wish there'd been more moments like that in the game. There's a great variety of guns in the game, which are all recognizable from the films, and some really nice options for upgrades and modifications, which I really liked as well. Plus, some weapon combinations allow for some really cool finishes when you need to do a close quarters kill.
That's something I want to do again.
All the guns sound just like they do from the film as well. In fact, all the audio in this game is great.
I just feel like the major letdowns here are just how dated everything looks and generally uninteresting level design. I mean, so many of these areas seem identical. Even the moments when you head outside, you're basically just running from point to point and then back inside the same dark corridors.
I think if you're not an Aliens fan, somehow, then you will find this very average sandwich and ho-hum. But if you are a die-hard fan, this is pretty much a virtual set tour of the second film. My best advice is to watch the film first and then go into this game and just roleplay it a little bit. Pretend you're part of the team and then you'll have a good time.
Yeah, I get that. I get that for fans just being there is exciting, but does that have to come at the expense of interesting gameplay? The action is mostly enjoyable, but there are some frustrating sections where the game just becomes a really average corridor shooter, and you'll be involved in pretty standard gunfights with goons and a few pointless objectives like disarming things or flicking switches. I mean, can't you have those amazing, iconic set pieces, but do something a little bit more inventive with them?
Yeah, I agree with you, although in co-op it is significantly better, especially when you've got the scanners out and you're just creeping around and communicating with each other.
4 meters.
Although, if you have your scanner out, your other teammates can't hear it pinging, and I think that's an oversight. It removes a whole bunch of cool strategy that could have been in that.
Yeah, it is the kind of game that really intensifies when you're navigating those infested halls with a buddy. There's some really great, aliens versus humans moments that are just more fun in tandem.
Oh, your health is not good.
I know, I'm in a bad way, but... That said, there's some annoying teleporting that happens if you wander too far from one another, so it has got issues.
It's also got a bit of Halo-itis, where even on the hardest difficulty with other players, it's still pretty easy in co-op. I do like that you can play with friendly fire on though, and that adds a lot of strategy and, once again, more communication between you and your team, so you feel like an awesome team working through trying not to hit each other.
Need to track them. Oh, here they are. I got you, bro.
Thanks for shooting the alien which bleeds acid on me.
But anyway, let's talk about the multiplayer.
Yes, we could only test this out with a handful of people, but there's quite a few modes of humans versus aliens. And there are some different class options to choose from with the aliens, like splitters and lurkers.
Oh, no.
Or weapon loadouts when playing as Marines.
Behind you!
I struggled with the aliens' controls though, Hicks. Just trying to climb on the walls, it was all a little bit awkward. Maybe you just need to get used to it.
That leaping and wall climbing is cool though. Always being able to instantly detect the Marines through walls is another great advantage. And I can imagine if we had more people, that kind of swarm approach playing on Team Xeno would really give you an advantage if you work together.
Oh, I'm not well.
I know that as a Marine, I got wiped a few times by some lurker Xenos that were timing their attacks just perfectly.
There is one interesting mode where you have to make your way out of a zone and to a lift going through certain checkpoints, and playing as the Marine in this mode is heart-pumping stuff.
I can hear them. Oh, that was you.
I heard something!
Oh, no!
Aliens are quick, stealthy, and certain classes can make flying leaps across huge gaps, so you really do feel surrounded.
Help!
What did you think of it overall, Baju?
I know it's not a great game, but I found myself forgiving all of its flaws, just being able to walk through those iconic aliens locations with friends. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I agree it does offer some great fan service by way of its likeness to the films, but the gameplay just wasn't up to scratch, so I'm giving it 6.